So with the release of Kid Goku, who has turned out to be a pretty good DFE, we're sort of set on this month until April 1st. And for anyone new or returning, I just kind of wanted to go over the various April 1st Dokkan Fest, which typically do include an LR of some sort. Yeah, here we go right here. That then leads into Saiyan Day, right? Which is, these are two Saiyan Day units. So if you're new, if you're returning, maybe you don't keep up with the schedule, let's talk about April Fool's units, and we can kind of use it as a jumping off point for an early, should you pull, should you worry about it. And actually this is the one I was looking for. Okay, so should you pull on April 1st? Well, I think April 1st marks the most wait and see of almost any of the Dokkan Fest released in a year, because you could argue things like the October Dokkan Fest, the Halloween Dokkan Fest, are similarly placed, where we kind of don't have an expectation on how hyped they'll be. See, you could have a Gogeta dropping in October, right? But typically on April 1st, we don't get a lot of hype. That said, sometimes, like with this 5th year's April 1st, we get literally Kaioken Blue Goku, who has yet to show up in any sort of meaningful way since, I think. Maybe someone can confirm that, but isn't this the last time this character has even shown up? Which is odd, because people want this character versus Hit as, Tanabata, they want it as Worldwide, they want it as Dokkan Golden Week, they want it as, endless choices, right? They really want a really good version of the Kaioken Spirit Bomb in game, but it just doesn't seem to be coming. So we move on to the 6th year, and we get Videl, which looks a little more in line with what we expect, right? What was it for this? It was just a random Bulma. Okay. So, this is a little more of the pacing of an April 1st. If you're really into characters who are very niche, who might not get big celebration naming, who might not get anything sort of exemplary. And actually, we can go back here and just check. What was the LR here? Free to play. Okay, it was a completely unrelated Nappa and Vegeta. Wow. So this is the other thing with Dokkan Fest and the Yellow Coin LR in this slot, is they're very funny with who they pair. So then we move on to Videl, and who was her pairing? Sorry if I saw this and forgot. Alright, it was Tapion. Alright, so you're sort of seeing the pattern here. April is the time for them to slip in characters who might not see inclusion otherwise. Here we had the Raditz pull, and what was his LR? Okay, this is pretty reasonable. So around the 7th anniversary is when they started, was when they matched them up a bit. Okay, let's go to April. Oh, I guess I'll take that back. So this is when they released the Kale, and this one is a Super Boo, right? Yeah. Like I said, if you're a new player, you're sort of seeing a pattern, or I guess maybe it's the absence of a pattern, where this is a complete long shot celebration. Like, we don't know. Oh, actually, here we go. Topo in this slot was really good. And regardless of how disappointing the Ginyu Force ended up being, I think the Ginyu Force's issue ultimately was not a fault of them so much as it was a fault of Frieza and Dokkan's lack of, future sight with Frieza. Because if you just add space traveling warriors or whatever the fuck it is onto this character, like Frieza needed, or whatever it is Frieza needed to actually make his team function, the DFE Frieza, I think we have an interesting conversation. But because this character literally only worked on one category, despite needing to help things like Namek Saga, Terrifying Conquerors, they could have helped Space Traveling Warriors, like I said, it just doomed them to irrelevancy. Like, imagine you could run this character because they're in the newest event, in the Festival of Battle still, because they are stacking technically, and there's like a You know, they could help out like villain teams in there, but they can't because Special Pose is not a fucking team anymore. But that all that said, Topo was extremely dominant. If you notice, it's not so much a problem of the April DFE themselves. It's really their LR that seems to be lacking. Because Kale, yeah, this is Kale. Kale was fine. This Boo was tragic. This Boo didn't get a 200% for a very long time. That was its issue. Is that he arrived and he was not on a 200% for like 7 months or something. And then Raditz is obviously like comically bad. And then these guys, I remember from, I didn't play during this time, but I remember they said that this character is also comically bad, so that's something. See if I can remember any. I think Videl was the god of the game, apparently. Again, I wasn't playing at the time. Videl was the god of the game. I don't remember this character ever being anything. And who did they easy A during the celebration? Was that something that was interesting? That was our first. That was our super easy A. He was really good. And did we get anyone else notable? I think these are all non-DFE like / banner units. So again, not really a celebration to like clamor over or anything. Not really. If you're saving, if you didn't pull on Kid Goku, I didn't pull on Kid Goku at all. Not because I don't think he's good, just because we got Golden Week coming. If you're saving, this is probably a massive skip for Golden Week, but we'll have to see, because as you can see, there is no certainty with April 1st, and I would argue that this window of Topo being strong was like a very fun time. You have to hand it to Truth when he says that this was the most underrated character in the entire game the day he dropped, because people don't like Topo for some reason. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, this version of Topo, design-wise, looks a lot cooler than a lot of villains in the Tournament of Power, regardless of him being sort of just like a secondary threat. Like, I don't know, man. Got a destruction mode, Topo's got it. But yeah, don't worry about this too much. I guess we can talk about this, actually. There was a blue Gogeta that was shown to have gotten battle motion. Go to Fusion, and yeah, it brought up claims that maybe this guy will super easy A. Don't worry too much about that. Let's not worry too much about that. I think it'd be exciting, but this character literally easy A'd 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, probably not happening. They would be skipping very far into the future. That said, Dokkan is kind of knocking it out of the park. Someone brought it up that Kid Goku releasing is probably a nod to the fact that they said that this would sort of be the year of the anniversary. So the 10-year anniversary would sort of extend all year. They would be playing up the excitement. So hey, if this guy's super easy A's, that's great. If that really is a hint, that's great. But I would not take that to be gospel. Is there another thing we can look at here? I guess we can look at Super Saiyans, and we can go to, I don't know why I'm using this guy for this, but here, yeah, here's here. This guy, of course, needs to become an LR at some point. Maybe they're going to use the April 1st slot for that. I said it before. This character looks like they're going to suck. This line of text is so fucking terrible, man. They keep giving it to Bardock where there's like, when there is a wicked bloodline enemy. And then, like, what is this? They keep giving this to him, and it's so bad. They hate Bardock. They genuinely hate Bardock. And I can't think it's anything else, really. So yeah, maybe we could see something related to this, but I doubt it. Like, are they really going to drop April 1st chilled? Probably not. Until then, I guess we can just end it off by thinking about, so what is like a thing they could do? They could do, oh, well, okay. So I did talk about this guy a second ago. If they wanted to use this slot to easy a Tapion and say Minosha or something like that, basically just EZA Tapion, who is a character who is completely stranded here. That could be something. Isn't Tapion on Time Travelers? Hey, time. I believe so, right? Tapion would be... No, he's not. Okay. Maybe he just counts as a movie. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. I have not seen Dragon, like Wrath of the Dragon or whatever the fuck it's called, in like 15 years, so. But yeah, I guess they could try to get Tapion in here. Nothing is really standing out specifically, and it doesn't seem like this slot has a big LR or big EZA. It also doesn't seem like this character needs like, I don't know, needs like a big LR either. Like, are they really gonna release like something that matches? I guess they could. Yeah, so long as you account for the fact that like this is just not really an interesting time of Dokkan, and that this Bardock is probably just gonna end up being bad. You're solid. If you want to pull, you do have like 14 days after pulling to sort of regather your funds, right? Like, after you go to April 1st and you grab whatever the unit is, in 2 weeks, you'll then be hit with like another, and then slightly 2 weeks after that, 2-ish weeks after that, 10 to 12 days after that, you'll be a golden week. If you're a new account, you'll probably have a lot of stones. As long as you're not pulling for dupes, which you should not be doing, do not pull for dupes. Unless they're your favorite character in the world and you're okay with breaking the bank, do not pull for dupes. But yeah, golden week is the prize. And April 1st is a wait and see, because outside of the 9-year, this time slot has had a really bad track record, and I'm just not seeing much value in any of the EZAs. Oh, I guess they did Kale and Khalifa here. Okay. I guess they could pump out a meaningful EZA, but yeah, it's really up in the air. I'm going to say that this would be a great time to do a movie celebration. Someone mentioned PyCon before. This is a great time to do a movie celebration. I want to see Tapion EZA. I don't want to see PyCon and Gogeta or Gogeta 4 or, you know, Janemba or any of these characters, any of these more hype characters EZA. Let's get a Tapion in there. Tapion seems fine. I don't know who they've released. Maybe they could just release Tapion himself. But yeah, that's my April 1st prediction, I guess. Is we're getting a Tapion Harugarn celebration, bro. Let's go. With all that being said, that's it for me. Like if you like the video, subscribe to the club. We all go make it, and peace.